All right, so our sweet glass.
Sweet glass.
Oh my God.
Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie.
And I'm Roman.
And on this channel, we talk about unique ingredients and techniques and show you new recipes for your kitchen every single week. Now, this week we are doing one of our recipe review series where we're reviewing Eddie Shepard's fruit glass. I'm going to let Roman tell you a little bit about Eddie Shepard, who he is, what he's done, and really, why are we reviewing his fruit glass?
Well, first things first is that fruit glass recipe that Eddie Shepard has come up with is amazing. It's really nice. He is a really great British chef. He has a restaurant called the Wall Gardens. It's in Manchester, UK, and most recently, he was 84th on the Guild's 100th list between two Michelin star restaurants. So kid's pretty good, to be honest with you. So, and he does like we do, we transform food in our kitchens as well as he does. And so we're gonna use our kitchen to do one of his recipes, which I really found very fascinating because we do have a fruit glass recipe, but it's not the same thing, and his is, I would have to say, far more superior.
Okay. Well, you don't have to say far more.
I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Okay, but we're going to tell it like it is. Check out Eddie Shepard's channel. We're going to link to it in our description below. Does a lot of really great vegetarian dishes, a lot of really great techniques. So what Roman's referring to is traditionally we make fruit glass here with a product. It's called Ultra Stick, which is a modified starch. So what you get from that, you get really beautiful fruit leather, which we love. But when you use it to make glass, it tends to be a little on the thicker side.
Yes.
It's a little bit opaque. And when we saw Eddie Shepard's version, we're like, his looks really great.
It's awesome.
So we wanted to see whether we can replicate it. So Roman's going to walk you through the recipe and how he did it, and we're going to see, how it all comes out. I need more coffee today. Go ahead.
All right, let's jump right into it. And so this is a pretty simple recipe as far as the ingredients go. Our main ingredients, which is what's gonna, do all our work, is the NH pectin. Right here we have some fruit juice. This is just a regular fruit cranberry cocktail that I bought at the store. We're gonna get that into our pan, and we're gonna dry mix the NH pectin into some granulated sugar.
So NH pectin is a special type of pectin. It's pre-blended with calcium. So pectin, generally, you get that. It comes from fruits originally, and it's a really great gelling agent. You use it in a lot of jams and jellies. NH pectin is very popular in making mirror glazes. I don't know if mirror glazes are still popular, but they were a huge thing a bunch of years ago.
They were.
Yeah.
Not as much.
But one of the cool properties of NH pectin that makes it different from other ones is that because number one is pre-blended, you don't need to add an additional calcium source in order for it to gel.
Right.
And then also it's thermal reversible, which I believe, since Roman's done the recipe and I haven't, is one of the big factors of this particular technique.
Yes, it is. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm whisking that dry mix of sugar and NH pectin into the fruit juice. I'm just gonna bring it up to a simmer, dissolve it, and then we're gonna get it into our bowl, and then we're gonna get that into the fridge, and we're gonna let that gel overnight.
Okay, why overnight?
Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get it to a certain set gel, so that way it is thermoreversible, so when we do bring some heat into it, it'll dissolve, but we don't want to dissolve it too much because we want it to be kind of thick so that when we do apply it onto our silpat, we're able to move it around and make a nice sheet to dehydrate.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll be back with the refrigerated fruit juice mix.
Yes. Okay, now that our fruit juice has gelled using the granulated sugar and pectin, we're going to heat it back up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That way we'll be able to put it on top of our silpat. And
ooh, so right now it's got that jelly consistency. And as Roman mentioned, we're not heating it up all the way, right? We're not trying to completely dissolve this.
No, we want to get this, as you can, I don't know if you can get to see, look in the camera here. We want to get this 120, which is, it's still a little thick, it's not as loose, because what you don't want is you don't want it running off of the edges of the silpat.
Okay.
It's one of the biggest reasons why,
so
which is a great technique.
Do you recommend that people use like a candy thermometer here?
I would use an instant read thermometer.
All right, just to make sure that you know exactly where you're at. Got it.
You see it's like slowly melting. It's great that we have the control freak because we can set it to the exact temperature, which is a big deal. But if you can do it on your stove. Just make sure you have a thermometer at the ready. Now that we have the mixture to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, we're just going to pour some right onto the silpat, and then we're going to move it around. I'll show you the technique that Eddie uses. We're just going to pour a little bit. As you can see, it's pretty loose. You don't want to pour too much. And what you want to do is you just want to go back and forth. Back and forth. And what will happen is the temperature will start to go down, and it'll thicken up as you're doing this. And you'll be able to coat this guy nice and thin. It does take a little while. It's not instantaneous.
Oh,
you see it?
Yep. So it's making a film on the silpat right now.
Yeah. So as it cools down, it will. And this does take a minute. I think the last time I timed it, it took me about 10 minutes
of doing this.
Yes,
Oh,
8 to 10 minutes. I think I might be.
Okay. Well, we're not going to stand here for 10 minutes while Roman does this. So what we're going to do is, what happens after we're done with?
All right, so after we're done and we get this to a nice even layer, which we will maybe a half an hour, no, I'm just kidding, a couple minutes, we're gonna put this in the dehydrator. Okay. We're gonna put it in dehydrator at 45 Celsius, which is 113 Fahrenheit, and we're gonna do that for about 2 hours, and then it'll stiffen up, and it'll be loose enough where you can peel it, but hard enough where it's it's not liquid, and we'll be able to set our do whatever we want to do. Maybe we'll do some designs or whatnot, and we'll set that up, and then we'll put it back in the dehydrator for overnight, and then that'll make our crisps.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
Okay, we're just about ready to start finishing off our fruit glass, but before we do that, I do want to remind you that if you love this channel and you love kind of seeing different recipes, different techniques, things that you're not going to see anywhere else, the best way to support Modernist Pantry and WTF is by going to modernistpantry.com, browsing our ingredients, our recipes, and seeing if anything tickles your fancy, because we are a small channel, and the algorithm likes it when you do what everybody else is doing. So when you're doing something that no one else is doing, we don't get as many views. So please support Modernist Pantry and WTF.
All right. So this is our fruit glass mix that we just took out of the dehydrator. It's been in there for about 2 hours at 113. What we're going to do now is we're going to take off a couple of strips, and we're just going to maybe do a couple little designs, and then we're going to re-dehydrate it.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just take off a piece here. As you can see, it's very dry. It's very easy to work with right now, and so you got that nice little. That's very clear.
Yes.
And so what you can do now is you can take it and you can just do something abstract like that. And take another piece, and we're just gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I wonder if you can set it into molds, so instead of doing all the back and forth, you can pour a little.
He does say in his video, which we'll put in the link in the descriptions, you could wrap this around, let's say, a dowel with a little bit with an acetate sheet, and you can make some nice rings where you could fill it up with something tasty, which I think is pretty cool. He does some really awesome stuff with his. But yeah, we're just gonna do a couple of different weird abstract shapes and whatnot, and then we're gonna get that into the dehydrator, and we'll be back to show you how it comes out. All right, now that we're back with our fruit glass that has just come out of the dehydrator after being there overnight, we have our shapes that have, as you can see, solidified. They're nice, they're airy. We'll taste them. You hear that? Oh my God,
super
crispy. Very, very crispy.
Yeah, I love how thin and translucent these are.
These are amazing garnish, by the way.
I feel like you can get super creative with how you shape them to create like all sorts of effects for like cakes.
Exactly.
Gingerbread houses. Desserts, obviously.
Wow.
Crispy.
Very crispy, very tasty. Almost a purist taste, if that makes any sense. It's not muddied. I love it. I love this technique. I love the texture of it.
Yeah. It reminds me of like when you have Jolly Ranchers and you get to the last little bit of Jolly Ranchers and it's super thin and you just have that tiny last sliver.
Yep.
This is what that's like, but all over. So,
oh my God.
So it's actually really cool.
It's like a modernist Jolly Rancher. It's beautiful.
Indeed. So leave in the comments below what else you think you could do with it, what kind of shapes you want to do with it, anything else you would like to see us do here in the test kitchen. And one of the readers left a new call to action at the very end. I'm going to try it out. So we'll do our usual. So until next week from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie.
And I'm Roman.
And we transform food.
We do.
User suggestion. Okay, goodbye.